What's up? Welcome along to the very first of our YouTube monthly magazine show dedicated purely to the hairdressing industry and consumers. And my name is Lehane, and I am thrilled to be here with these two lovely.
Hey!
So we've got Jordanna, Cobella,
Yes.
our host, and we have Tegan, Roberson, our host. So what are we going to be doing? What's going to be going on in today's show?
Here, there and everywhere, basically.
Everywhere. Okay, well, we've got amazing things to say. This is our very first magazine show, and that really is what this is all about, isn't it? I think is to not just you guys that are hairdressers, barbers, but also I think to the general public, the consumers. And we're going to be bringing on some amazing guests today. So who we got? Who we got going?
We have James Akinson.
Yay, good old James.
We have Jemima.
Can I just stop you?
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
James Atkinson,
Yeah.
The Life of Hair.
Absolutely. The
Life of Hair. Follow it on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
The Life of Hair 1.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
coming
the
on.
Life
So,
of Hair.
and James, I believe, is going to come on and he's going to be talking colour trends. All right, so we're going to be getting right into colour trends with James. And rumour tells me that he's going to be doing a little bit of a demo.
Oh, I can't wait.
Does that sound okay? All right. And then following up on that, we are then going to be bringing on.
Leah, Hayden, Cassidy.
And who else are we going to go coming our
We
way?
are bringing Jemima, who is the deputy editor of Black Beauty magazine.
And who else have we got coming on to the show?
Me.
Yeah, yeah, we have got. 'Cause what did we do? We sent Tegan out having a bit of a jolly.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We had a good time. Yeah, so me and Dan went to the wonderful streets of Camden, which was super fun, one of my favourite places on earth. And we basically just interviewed a couple of people about their hair, which was really fun, actually.
And I can tell you, I have seen a little sneak of this, and you are going to enjoy this.
Brilliant.
She's off the scale. So, look, it is just really exciting. So, how excited are we all to be here for, I think, probably a bit of a first when it comes to a hairdressing YouTube channel dedicated magazine show.
Yeah.
Is that kind
It's
of how
what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Tegan got interviewed by Creative Head magazine, didn't you? And when they asked what do you want to do in a couple of years' time, guess what she said?
Yeah, I said, and I kind of just made this up. I said that I wanted to be a host of a hair and culture show, and here we are today, guys.
Here we are, and we're actually,
Very
if you're wondering where we're actually coming from, we're in the L'Oreal Academy, part of the Redkin Academy room here, so that's really cool, so big thank you to them. So yeah, I mean, it really is going to be just a lot of fun. I'm so excited. We've been talking about it for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
And you know, why us three? Well, in truth, I've got to lie, myself and the guy behind the camera, Dan. Hey Dan, we can see you. How you doing? So Dan, we were sort of plotting this, and obviously we wanted a bit of coolness to the show. So I had to go to the side here, and that's why we got you guys in.
I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
both hairdressers.
Yes.
Jordanna, give everybody a bit of a heads up on you.
So I actually started my first career as a police officer after I did law at university.
Take us away. I bet everybody says it, don't they?
Watch yourself, I know the law. and then after 2 years, I decided to join hairdressing because that's what my parents did, and I loved the industry, and I have never looked back.
Yeah.
And no one is under arrest.
And Cobella Salons is, I mean, that is a legendary salon, isn't it? Come on, give a shout out to your mum as well.
Luckily enough, I have two successful parents in the hairdressing industry. Beverly Cobella, who's actually got an MBE, and my dad, Anestis, who's the Greek godfather of hairdressing for me.
He is, and it is a beautiful salon. We were actually looking at filming our very first The Hair Show in there, weren't we? But just whatever reasons, we couldn't quite make it. Come on in, Tegan.
So I'm Tegan, or some of you might know me as Peach Soda, 2 O's in the end. Yeah, I'm a hairdresser as well. I've only been in the industry for kind of short 4 years, maybe.
4 good years, though.
4 good years. Yeah, so I currently work at a place called Tutti Frutti, which some of you might have heard. Very crazy, kind of like punk, new agey. Very cool.
I interviewed them on the podcast show, didn't I?
Yeah,
The
you
girls
did.
from
Yeah,
Tutti
very,
Frutti.
very cool. I've not been there very long, but yeah. Whole new world for me.
Yeah.
And then here I am as well, doing this.
I mean, this is what is so good about hairdressing. I said it at the very start of the intro, that this is not just hairdressers, but you guys, the general public.
Absolutely.
People that want to come in and get some great tips from industry guests, and that's what I'm so excited about, I think, is actually getting the rundown of what's going on in hairdressing. So to bring them on in the format that we're doing, and I certainly never saw this happening in the hairdressing industry when we first came into it. Did you? You know, we'd be sat here, as you said, you know, doing a hairdressing cultural sort of show.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that wasn't very long ago, but yeah, I think this is kind of like a first of its kind, a hybrid of shows.
It is, yeah, very much so. So, look, I think one of the things that I want to open the show on, and I think really is important, is news.
Yeah.
What is going on out there in the hairdressing world? And let's bring that to the consumers. So, I'm going to just ask you, really, Jordanna, have you got any bits that you feel you'd like to share with everybody?
For me, we're in October, so I would say
2018.
Yeah, the biggest event of the year happens in October, and that is Salon International, and that's one of my most favourite events of the year. And of course, you've got the tribute show. We have the show at the Royal Opera House,
Alternative Hair Show.
It is
so
almost like
it
is that calendar. I always know when we get to that October time, it comes really, really busy. Why is it so many hairdressing events are taking place in October?
I have a feeling they know, especially because it's Salon International, that everyone's kind of going to be in the area.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of just count their lucky stars that everyone's going to go to them.
Why do we get so excited about Salon International? What is it about Salon International that we love? Or don't love?
I'd say it's got something for everyone, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So you have people showcasing barbering, showcasing afro hair, all types of hair, and also on different levels. So it's really nice for students to go and see, or even for potential employers.
Get excited about it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, and I know, look, I'm not the youthful face of this show. I get that, all right? But when I started out in hairdressing, the thing that actually got me drawn into the industry, yes, I'm one of the fourth member of my family that's gone into the industry.
Blimey.
But I had no interest in hairdressing. It was only when I went to Salon International way back in 1984. I think it was 1984. And I remember going with my flat top, and I remember sort of going there sort of reluctantly with my mum. And we kind of, honestly, I was still a school kid. Still a school kid at that time. And we went in there. And I was just like, all my experiences of hair had been my mum doing blow dries on old ladies, and sat there for like 45 minutes watching blow. And suddenly I went into Salon International, and it was like, it was mega.
Yeah.
Really, it was just like, whoa, and there was all these people on stages. And
Whole new world, isn't it?
it is a whole new world, and I think that is what's so important, and I hope that there are people that look in to this that maybe do consider a career in hairdressing. I think actually go to Salon International. How many times have you been there, Tegan?
I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 times every year that I've been in the industry. But I think what I love about that is that, because I mean, as a whole, you don't get to meet that many hairdressers, especially people from like smaller towns and stuff in the UK. And this is like your one opportunity to be surrounded by people in your industry. Like
you
everywhere.
are not kidding.
Yeah.
Monday, student day.
Because I think we all work so hard. And it's just might like seem quite mundane day to day doing the same thing, but when we go to something like that, we're like, wow, we're part of something. We're part of something really cool.
It's a cult,
actually.
really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going to be on stage?
Cult.
Yeah.
Go on then. What are you going to be doing?
So I've just found out 2:30 on Sunday. I will be demonstrating some long hair looks from a latest collection on behalf of the fellowship. And
that's really good.
Amazing.
I'm going to be also on Sunday.
Yes.
And I'm going to be on at 12:30 on the HJ Choose Hair stage. And then, clashing, I'm going to be on 2:30. I'm going to be doing a demo for Akito scissors. Just a little
Keto, John and Katie.
Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they?
They are lovely people.
Yeah.
So some of you will probably be watching this after Salon International and these events. So maybe if you have watched it, been there, and give us your thoughts in that little comment bit below. I'd love to hear more how people get on with that and their experiences. And super exciting time. So what about you, Tegan? What's going down in your hair world at the moment?
So my hair world has kind of dramatically changed over the past few months. I moved salons. It was the first time I moved salons since I qualified, which we were talking earlier, which is I think it's quite a bit. It's a big deal. It's a big deal at your start of a career, and I think sometimes it's a bit of a necessity, because I think when you have kind of been brought up in a salon as a junior to kind of qualified, it's very hard to make that jump. It's very hard to
Big
make
time.
that move and feel like you're qualified, feel like you're...
It's so scary,
true.
isn't it? I think when you do make that jump, and it's like it is almost like learning to drive and then getting on the motorway. I think right now I've got to learn how to drive.
Yeah.
And as we all probably know as hairdressers, that actually a big part of being a great hairdresser is actually how you deal and talk with clients and that whole relationship. So is it working out good?
Yeah, fantastic. I think like the past few months have kind of been like a it's like paving my way, but paving my future really. I think you really kind of realise what you're capable of doing when you do that. And I think just my old salon to my new salon, very different kind of mix of hairdressing. They come from very different paths. I think I feel like really kind of blessed to be able to kind of learn from both ends of the stick. I feel like I've just got a feel for so many different kind of aspects of hairdressing, so it's really good. I think the next few years are going to be really exciting.
I mean, I was saying to Tegan earlier, weren't we, when we came into the academy, just about you know, how you become quite a face in yourself as that sort of social media sort of star. So great stuff. Now I'm just going to hop back over to my news because I just want to share it, because I just put it on my Facebook group, How to Cut It Community, and it was a topic about Instagram. All right, and I think you're going to be where I might be going with it. Right? And it's all about followers, and we know there are massive following numbers on this, right? And the reason so I put this post out there. You know, what do people think about followers? Are people buying followers? Are they buying likes? And as it is, as we probably all realise, there are lots of companies out there that are buying followers and likes. And I kind of felt a little bit deceived by it. And the reason being is that I was looking to interview somebody, and I checked them out, went into that, and I could actually see the people that were following them were clearly bots. Well, you're buying it. And so I don't know, what do you think about this? Why is it so important to have so many followers?
Badge of honour kind of. I think some people, it's quite sad actually. I think a lot of hairdressers at the moment have such a great anxiety around it. I feel like there's kind of an opinion that if you don't have loads of followers, you're not as successful as someone who does.
But why do we want to be successful?
Because
that's a good question.
I would say because in any industry you always look up to the figureheads in the industry who have achieved what they've achieved, and you strive for the best, and that's a great human quality that we all have, and I think that's what drives us to keep learning, even when you're at the back end of your career. But as far as followers goes, I think it's just a societal norm.
Do you think though, is it because we've got brands that are maybe looking to want to get amazing names and hairdressers, I mean, like yourself, and both you, great followings, quite recognised faces now. Is that because maybe brands are thinking, look, we need to work with these people because they've got a huge following and it's going to, I mean, look, and we need the brands. So this isn't anything negative against the brands. I'm just thinking it's probably not helping the situation. And I just feel like, I don't know. And because if you're not got a massive following, then I kind of always feel that maybe makes me feel a bit underwhelmed. I'm not actually that successful.
That's why I find it that it's kind of I don't know, it's a lot of positive and negatives with it. The whole buying followers and stuff like that, I do think is quite deceitful. I think a lot of people have worked hard at it, but at the same time, I think that this whole Instagram thing is creating issues for a lot of hairdressers. They put their heart and soul into it, and just because they don't have a lot of followers, I feel like they're inadequate.
What about you, Jordanna? Anything else that you want to just share with us going on in the hairy world of our world?
Yeah, well, with Instagram.
Just out there in hairdressing in general.
For me, I think Instagram, I see it in a really, really positive light because it gives opportunities to people that wouldn't have had it. Particularly for people who live outside of London and in pockets of areas that there aren't so many opportunities. It's a platform to really share and showcase, actually, I've got some real good competition out here. So that's my positive spin on it. And I think brands have now factored into their marketing that they need ambassadors. But then they also need the type of ambassadors that are their digital influencer ambassadors. And you can see brands are now partnering with different types of people, different pockets.
That's nice.
And I love that. And I really do.
But that is what, again, and I think to any sort of person that's looking at hairdressing, that these are the things that we should all be excited by, and you know, we should be really embracing that because the brands are offering these opportunities. Because again, we all work on the floor as hairdressers, don't we? So we know the realities. It can be hard work. It's, you know, but it's nice to know that there are other things, and like you started off in the news section, Jordanna, by going to events and expos and having all these things. It's that other little bit of the industry which is just super exciting. And really, just to finish on the news section and on topic really of that Instagram, because knowing that we're going to have the Life of Hair, James Akinson, coming onto the show, that we're going to be talking colour trends with him, but on Instagram as well. And I believe Sophia Hilton was very particular on this, was talking about the reality of what clients' expectations are and, you know, what it takes to achieve amazing colours. Like you, not me, but like your hair colour, right? And this is a problem. Again, and I know when I host it, I'm okay with it. It's all right. It's okay. I'm
going to get you a wig made at the end of this.
Hey, it may just happen. You never know. But in terms of like when a client comes into the shop, and I know when I've done this panel chat show on Wednesday, we were talking exactly about client expectation and how clients have got no idea how long it can take to go from your sort of colour change to sort of like a Tegan red.
I do agree with you, but I would also say clients have never been more educated. They know they're going through the orange stage to get to the ice blonde, white, platinum stage. However, they still want to push the boundaries, and you know, they still want to understand or try and challenge you as a hairdresser to get there quicker and cheaper.
Instant gratification.
So I do think they're still educated, and they're more educated than ever before, but I just think they're just pushing us a little bit.
No, I agree, but I always think what is really difficult, and there's going to be guys there, look, you work in mega salons, which they are mega salons, they're cool salons, yours is edgy, it's cool, but there may be that salon that's just going to be sort of up there in, nothing against Burnley, but Burnley's coming to my mind. Burnley, north of England, by the way. Burnley's great. But if you're in that little local salon and managing those expectations, and the reality is it's very hard when you're just one-two sort of hairstylist on the floor, and you've got a client who's going to be in the salon for 4 hours. I don't know. Is that kind of the time that we should be expecting to achieve? And that's where I think it gets confused. How do we manage that booking time and charge accordingly? Because we know it costs a lot of money to get that done, but that salon in Burnley or just on the outer edges of London could be just saying, look, I can't afford to charge my clients £300, £400, £500, £600, and how do they manage that?
Different ways.
You kind of have to some of the time do like customized prices and stuff like that, because sometimes people don't want to pay that, and you know, like you've spent hours and hours on it, but it's just not practical to charge.
I guess so. I think it's certainly for us all to think about, maybe food for thought. You know, when people come on, and let's say we're going to be bringing James on in a minute, and we're going to be talking to him about trends, and you know, he might be able to put a little bit more light on it. And I know in that section you're going to love this bit, guys, coming up, because we're going to be also getting James' views on our pick of hairstyles, on what's hot and what's not. So we're going to be brewing in onto there. How do we feel on that? Are we feeling good in your news world? Really.
So we are really excited to bring our first guest on to the show, and it's our first episode of the hair show, and that is James Akinson, aka
Yay! Here he is. Hello, the man with great curly hair. No hair envy at all, James. Great. Is it the Life of Hair?
The Life of Hair, yes. The Life of Hair, yes. So that's pretty much all my social media handles now. It's either the Life of Hair or the Life of Hair 1. It manifested itself from a YouTube channel that I started back in June. I'm loving making YouTube videos, actually. It's become a very enjoyable, creative process for me, thinking about how I can make my videos as interactive and fast-paced as possible, but still get across some good content and give people some free education. I think I was talking earlier about this, but I think we're heavily represented on Instagram as an industry, and I think I get a lot of clients through that avenue, and that's great. But I think as far as YouTube goes, there's not so much of that at the moment. So I wanted to get in there and start putting some free education out there, because it's my passion in life is to give people information. If I could take you to the pub and teach you tiddlywinks, I would.
Oh. Hey, mate, I'm up for a game of tiddlywinks.
You know,
Have you ever played tiddlywinks?
I've never even heard of that.
No, you never heard of tiddlywinks?
How about a game?
Could you see Tegan playing tiddlywinks?
I could see Tegan being the world champion. I could see Tegan being the world
I'll be up for a
champion.
bit of tiddlywinks.
Yeah, she's getting a mug name.
Welcome to the hair show.
Yeah.
We're talking about tiddlywinks.
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant.
Whatever that is.
So look, I mean, what we're going to be talking about hair trends, colour hair trends,
Colour
aren't
trends.
we? Yeah. So where are we at, James?
Well, I wanted to bring to you guys some vision that I have of commercial hair trends and the way that commercial hair trends I think are going to go in 2019. I'm seeing more and more natural texture, curly, sporting it myself as you can see, so I'm not biased at all, but I've been a big fan of curly hair my whole career, and I'm really pleased to see people who are embracing it, and it's been great because, you know, celebrity endorsement of curly hair. You're seeing the likes of Beyonce and people with great natural texture wearing it natural, and I think that's really going to start to filter through, and it already is starting to filter through, certainly with my clients, as a ongoing trend in the salon.
And that's not an easy thing, wearing your hair in its natural
no.
form. That takes just as much as effort and education and
Exactly.
products.
Well, we haven't seen it in terms as well. I know we're saying colour trends, but it's just cool to just talk trends.
Yeah,
because
trends,
it's kind of technical,
trends,
isn't it, really? But I mean, when we talk about colours, we have seen like those very boho-y curls for a while, but we're now starting to talk more natural curls. Is that fair reflection?
Yeah.
And I know we've got Jemima Cousins, Deputy Editor, Black Hair and Beauty, coming on. And do you think a lot of this has come from, you know, black culture?
Yeah, I think some of the trends that you've seen with celebrity has definitely been black culture led. But I think people are just accepting that if their hair's curly, there's better products out there. There's better ways to dry their hairs, diffuser bags, and
They're well educated now. I
Yeah.
think that's what, like, the come of Instagram, not only with the natural texture, even like they're more educated with how to look after the hair, products wise, how to style it, even like YouTube tutorials and stuff like that makes people more aware of what's out there.
yeah, that was I think my 5th episode of Life of Hair. I did a how to diffuse your curly hair, and I had to go with sort of nigh on afro texture, and not only
How do you diffuse?
Well, I think the key for me, the key for me, Dom, is to go to the Life of Hair. So you know, that's right. Yeah, you know, and the thing was, I think one of the big things for me is don't touch it. You know, dry the hair as still and as natural as possible. You know, and then once it's dry, really free that shape up. Get your hands in there and bring out the shape that you created either with the cut or its natural feel.
And can I dare say the word perm?
Oh, yeah.
I want to know about this.
Look, perm is just one of those words that, as hairdressers, was perm, general public, perm, the smell of perm. But could it happen?
I think if we could make a product that you could put onto coloured hair,
Not damaging.
not damage it, perms would come back.
Would you all embrace perms?
Yeah.
I would. I actually sported one when I was 18 at school, and then when it
Oh,
grew
why
I can
out,
imagine that.
Why haven't we got a photo?
Oh,
I bet it
I'll
looked
find you
beautiful
one.
with a perm.
When it started growing out, that's when I realised, oh, perms aren't actually permanent. I didn't know anything about hair when I was about 18.
And did the smell last after you washed it? Because I know
A couple of times. I must have
Can you
made
not
friends.
still smell it?
Oh, that was you? That was you.
No, he was, yeah. No, that was my lunch. But, never going to say. But, I mean, look, in terms of perms, fab, curls, fab, colours.
Colours, yeah. Well, let's talk about colours. I think hashtag grombre. Anybody know
Oh,
that?
yuck. That is the ugliest word I've ever heard in my whole life. That sounds like gruel or something.
Hashtag grombre. Go and put it into
Grombre?
Grombre. So,
Is that
so this
grumpy? Is it, what are we talking?
Hashtag I'm grumpy. No, this is talking about those natural grey hair trend. It's a trend, I suppose. You know that people are wearing their natural grey hair. And I'm
We're talking older generation now, James.
older and anybody that's gone grey. I'm having so many people come in and say,
my mum's doing that.
yeah, fantastic. You know, and I'm a big fan actually. I mean, I work for a colour brand, so probably wouldn't be pleased with me saying this, but no, you know,
How do I word this?
Yeah, that's right. But no, the reality is that actually they do other things to their hair that still means that they invest in services, but they're just fed up of putting dye on their head, you know, 4 weekly or whatever it is. And I think hairdressers need to get on board with how to take people on this journey. And actually the technique that I'm going to show you later, actually, I do use a lot on that grey journey. And I advocate you do it slowly, but I think there's got to be a feeling of getting on board and being enlightened when people sit in your chair.
Because this is what happened with my mum. She's been dyeing her hair dark for years and years and years, bless her. And then she came to me and she was like, I've made a big life choice. I'm going to go silver. You're going to do it for me. And I was like, well, no, I won't. But anyway, I was stuck, because obviously like the, I don't know if you're talking like the dark kind of integrating the grey into that as it grows out.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. Just yeah, it's a challenging process. But I think if you go all in with a bleach and you're bleaching it and it's going orange and you've got grey roots, it's just too heavy. You've got to sort of creep them there gently, you know. And if there's any people out there that are watching this that think actually, you know, I really would like to go grey or expose my natural grey colour, it's not going to be easy, guys. It's going to take a long time. But it, you know, if you want to get there, it's worth it in the end, because I think, you know, as you get older, not only does your hair go grey, but your skin tone fades, and it does suit, you know, your skin tone. So as we lose melanin, we don't just lose it from our hair. That's why our hair goes grey. We lose it from our skin as well. So I think it's really important.
Do you have to wear particular kind of haircuts with this natural grey silver?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I think Dan might display on the screen a bit later on some of the grey things that I've seen, but you know, or we're seeing coming about. There's all manner of lengths. I mean, just down there on the right side, you guys can see there's a very long grey.
Can we see these here? Yeah, let's have a look at these here.
At first glance, I didn't actually realise that was that's
so that
natural,
is
right?
the definition of
grey. Yeah, that's right. You know, and she looks great. I think she's editor of a magazine. This woman.
Let's bring that in.
And
let's bring that in. Let's bring that in.
So
she looks great.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Yeah.
And very flattering.
That is a natural.
That's the definition of a silver fox.
That's her.
You can tell the texture of the hair.
Yeah, that's right. If you read about her, you'll see that that's her.
This obviously not natural.
No,
that's
enhanced.
Yeah, enhanced.
So
enhanced is a key then to this.
Yeah. It's one of the factors.
Can I ping along?
Yeah, go along. Yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect time. So just to let again the viewers know, these are images that you've sort of put forward here, James, and we've kind of got going. So what we got going on here?
Well, this is another trend that I was talking about, but this is.
What's this then?
This is about the trend of highlights, really. I mean, it's not that it's a trend; it's been around forever. But I think balayage has been a big thing, and for the you know, consumer out there who's watching this. You may not be aware, balayage is a trend of having it, you know, lighter towards the ends, and it sort of gently melts away.
Consumers don't get it.
They don't always know.
The balayage.
No,
I don't can't even say.
Balayage.
Balayage.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier when it's cat pie.
You know, got some. But you know, guys, if you don't know what it means to sweep. It's a sweeping technique where you blend away from dark to light, and I think actually what we're going to see is more highlighting techniques coming into. Back into our daily life and applying some of the skills that we learned with blending from balayage, and we'll be doing highlights that are a lot more natural and blended, like you're seeing just there.
Should we have a little shift along? What have we got?
This is the curly. This is the curly vibes. This is what we were talking about earlier. I mean,
I can't wait to bring Jemima on as well.
Jemima's, yeah. I mean, I knew Jemima was coming on, but still, this has been a passion of mine for a long time. I think I'm talking about this more with Jemima, but I think it's a terrible shame that there's a sort of divide between, you know, Afro hair types and Caucasian hair types. You know, European hairdressers need educating in it's just hair, and they need to learn to cut it.
Ridiculous when you really think about it,
yeah,
isn't it?
and colour it as well, because you know it's more porous, it's more fragile, it's a lot more. But it's not rocket science. It's just hair.
So we're going to talk to Jemima.
I won't get on my high horse about that.
On that. But this is, and again, this is kind of just going to work its way through again the curls, as what you just said at the very start of that. It is very simple. And then what we got along here?
That's not my one.
Is that not your one?
No.
Have we got any more?
Yeah, there's a few more. Keep going. That was again the highlights.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, using a highlighted technique to create you know, that multi-dimensional. It comes much higher up the head, like a highlight
I do a
used
lot of
to.
that.
Are these by you, or are these just images
just
that we found?
generic
Sort of,
images,
yeah, so
yeah,
thank
that's
you
right,
to
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
that's got their hair work being
Yeah,
featured on
yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's wicked to see. Beautiful. Do you like that, Jordanna?
Beautiful. Yeah, I really do, and I love the amount of ash content in that blonde as well.
Could we ever
Such
see?
a hairdresser thing.
Could we ever see you wearing anything like that in years?
Well, actually, because funnily enough, I've started growing. I'm only 24, but I started going grey when I was about 12.
Really?
So I'm actually growing that because I thought it'd be. With my personality, if I was fully grey, everyone would just assume that I was an old drunk auntie. But I've started actually growing out this little shave bit to see what it looked like. This would be like a nice little ash grey.
Because Tegan was, I mean, you were renowned for your green hair.
Yeah, but now it's
Now you're
red.
Where are we at with bright colours as well, James?
Well, I think, yeah, we are seeing in certain areas people are experimenting still with bright colours, and we are still seeing bright colours. We are still seeing bright colours coming through.
I've got some.
Look,
There we go, bit of vivid colours there. But
who's put this one in? Is this?
No, not me.
Not me.
I think it's from my Weller mood board. Yeah.
Do we like that?
I mean, yellow. I think yellow's going to be a big. Yellow and green is actually
Still.
something.
But yeah, neon,
Neon,
isn't it?
yeah, is going to be a
Like the
big.
Crazy Colour
yeah.
just brought out the new neon range.
Yes, yeah.
I think-
Why neon? What's the
Well, I
effect
think it's
on
just.
that?
I think it's just an emanation of or, you know, the next evolution of
Yeah.
you know, bright colours. People are getting braver and braver,
They're
aren't
getting
they?
bored of.
You know, there's
so
so
that goes back again to client expectations. Someone comes in with black hair and they show their hairdresser and say, "I'd like that hair colour, please."
I'll take you to PAX.
I mean, that is the thing, isn't it, though? It is just like, I mean, that is a major job, isn't it? This isn't just a colour out of a tube and, and off we go. What sort of technique's gone into that?
a lot of bleach and then a lot of blending work afterwards, you know, to create that amazing curation.
Let's have a little one. What we got going on here?
Natural curls again. Back to the
Lovely.
natural curls, yeah.
Okay. This was mine.
This was yours.
What do you reckon? Was it on it or not?
Yeah, love it.
See, I kind of like this. The only reason I went for this
Pumpkin
one, mustardy kind of yellows. And again, I'm trying to like make out that I know what I'm talking about here. It's only because again, this Weller event that we were at, and Zoe Irwin presented some looks, and one of those sort of looks were to do sort of mustard 70s hair. So is that something we could see?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, can we just quickly zoom along then? Just give us a bit what's hot, what's not.
Let's go.
Let's have fun?
Let's
go. Absolutely.
And you can all do that. We all do what's hot and what's not.
Yeah. Hot.
Love that.
Absolutely.
I put that in.
I'm getting over this great thing.
Getting over it?
I was over it 3 years ago.
Okay, so we're over that. All right, that was mine.
When you were great yourself at 12.
Okay, we're getting over that.
Well, they said that was going to be purple was going to be popular this year with the ultraviolet.
Yeah, that's
but that never took off.
No, I thought this took off like a
So
while
come
ago
on,
with the grey.
yeah, hot or not?
No.
Oh, I ain't done 1 out of 3 at the moment. Ain't very good.
Is this more like warmer tones?
Not
maybe.
me.
Not
This
me.
isn't me, this one.
Yeah, just warmer tones.
Yeah, I think warmer tones. Yeah, I'm into
I'm okay.
it.
Am I
Easier.
into
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah?
I don't think everybody suits ashy hair.
50-50
No, they
so
don't.
far.
No.
Okay, so we're into that.
Natural,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
Can't go wrong with
Now
natural.
we're on the flow.
Love that.
Yes,
70s
thank you.
fringe.
Thank you.
Loving it, yeah.
Seems like 70s are very
killing it.
Blonde,
Yeah, it's that
sandy.
70s.
Yeah.
That's I can see you with that.
Yeah.
That's a jewel down there. Men colour?
No.
Not going to happen.
No.
Independent.
I'm not a fan. I'm not personally a fan.
Okay. Men's colour, blue. Could we see that going into the barbering? I know we've got Leah on in a bit.
No, I can't see
Yeah.
it.
Could we
I
see it
don't-
going into men's hairdressing?
Men's hairdressing colour could happen, but I personally not a big fan.
That's hot.
Good.
Oh,
I
hot.
did that.
Is it?
Mullet.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah.
It's
Hot.
gorgeous.
I like the cut.
Mullet.
I like the cut, but I just think.
Oh,
Way
anyway.
natural. Way natural.
Hot or not, I'm throwing that over there. We're done.
We're done
So
with
we
that.
come to that. So look, what are you, James? You're going to do something for us, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to do a little demonstration of a really cracking commercial technique that you can just, one of those ones where if you haven't got time and your client wants a little bit of a dimension, or you know, if you want to give your client something for free, because I'm big into giving my clients gifts, my loyal clients, you know, I'll say, well, why don't we do this, and it's on me, this one, and you know, as long as they're express techniques and it's not going to cause you too much bother in your day.
I bet they love it.
Oh, of course they do.
They love that.
Come and see you next time.
That's it.
You know, because they're loyalty, aren't they? They pay a lot of money to come and see me, and I think I owe them something.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the demo. How's this going to work then? Jordanna, are we going to...
So what we're going to see is we're going to bring on Dottie the Dolly.
Dottie the Dolly.
I'm going to get Dottie.
And James is going to talk us through
Dottie,
the techniques.
we have now officially got Dottie the Dolly.
She doesn't look like a Dottie.
Does she not?
No.
Dottie, I love the name Dottie.
Yeah,
hey,
I'm
James.
not very imaginative.
Dottie.
Dottie.
And he's going to show us a
Got
few
his
sections and he's going to talk us through it. And I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, okay. So in he comes.
All right, here's Dottie.
Dottie the
Oh,
Dolly.
she's beautiful.
She's a great client of mine, actually. She's been coming to me for many years, so we're going to do a little bit of free...
Got some natural layers
A
going
little bit
on
of
here.
natural, yeah. She's got a uniform chemical haircut.
But it's actually when hairdressers first start out in hairdressing, again for those that are maybe coming into the industry, which we hope you are, these are what you're going to work on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And all my career, I still... If I haven't got anything to do, Dom, I'll be in the salon. You'll find me doing either filming a video or I'll be on one of these, or I'll be doing both.
Yeah.
Filming a video on one of these. But you know, I think they're a great tool. You know, and all salons should have a couple of heads poking around, even if you just use them to put hair up with. It's so important that you know, my apprentices learn to braid and put hair up, and when they're not got anything to do, I throw them on a mannequin head and say, come on guys, you know, don't just mope around out the back, because they get a bit downhearted, don't they, eventually.
So what's going on then, James?
Right, well, what's going on? Okay, so this is a sort of emanation, I guess, of freehanding technique, and it's very simple. Now, it's a highlighting technique, and we're not looking for tons of lift out of this. So I'm going to get this started, and then I'm going to head over there, finish it off, and I'll bring it back later. But I just want to get you to see exactly how we do it. So you're working very naturally with the hair. You're working with the hair's natural fall. We're not sort of over directing the hair one way or the other. And you know, simplicity is the key with this. And remember, guys, it's a highlighting technique. And when we say highlighting, we think colour change, because it would be fair to say that a lot of people put their foils in, you know, and they're so close together, they actually change the colour of someone's hair with them. Whereas actually, if you look at, say, the image that we had up there earlier with the more ashy blonde, that is a truly highlighted feel. And I think we need to be aware that there should be separation between, you know, a colour change with foil and highlights.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the actual technique. We've taken a horizontal section here, and then I'm going to take a sort of 2 to 3 millimetre, a normal highlighting kind of width section. But what I'm going to be really aware of is that I don't do my weave too close together. I want about 1 centimetre gap. The camera can see that, hopefully you can. About a 1 centimetre gap in between each of the highlights. So I come in then with my balayage board, place it underneath. Now, we're not really concentrating on doing this bang on the roots. It doesn't have to go all the way back to the roots. If we're creating natural looks, it's very rare, or if someone's got naturally sun-lightened hair, it's very rare that it goes all the way back to their roots. So, you know, if you need to blend this out with a little bit of toner work afterwards because you've gone too high, then so be it. But try and be aware that it's not necessary to go all the way back up to the roots.
James, can I just ask you, how did you actually develop this technique, or was it something you...
No, it was something that I did, I came across really for I like the idea of highlights being highlights, and I came across it for adding it to people with existing brown hair and creating like a bit of a multi-dimension and using a very low developer. So, you know, if we're talking about peroxides, they come in grades, you know, 10 volume, 20 volume, 30. I'll use a 10 volume, I'll leave it on for the processing time, and that would just nudge away the colour build-up, and it would just create a little bit more, you know, multi-dimensional feel, because I like colour to look as natural as possible. So once I've applied the colour to here, I just use this dry blurring brush, and I just gently blur away the start of where I applied the product, and then lay it down.
Have you guys done any of this sort of?
Yeah, I've been doing this quite often.
So what does somebody ask for when they come into the shop? And what they're looking at, they're thinking, "Oh, I want to go."
It's a great question. I mean, I'm a I've got a bit of a thing about, you know, the names of things, you know, because people try and name things to
Just
own
keep
them.
it easy, for goodness sake. Don't
Easy,
give them
just-
another balayage.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying, guys. You know, flamboyage, balayage, all these names. You know, they're crazy.
Can we just give it
highlights? It's just highlights.
UK highlights.
You know, it's not even UK highlights. It's just highlights, guys. Just be real. Nope. You know, I want lighter brown pieces in my hair. Highlights.
Yeah, but then they're going to ask that to the hairdresser, who's going to get out their highlighting pad.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
That's the danger. I realise that, but you know, at the same time,
Cool.
well, if you want to go to the life hair, I'm going to do a video on this anyway, so you can.
Well, I tell you what then, James. What you can do, I'm going to let you go away, and you're going to go and finish that off. I'm loving that vibe. I'm loving you, mate. You are good.
So I'll
Very
just
good.
Pop this one in.
So you can take Dottie off.
Come on,
we're gonna bring Dottie back at the end of the show, like Blue Peter style, if you remember Blue Peter style, and we're gonna
Still
present
going
that.
now, Blue Peter.
Is he still going?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No way. Why? What? BBC? Is it?
Yeah, BBC. Yeah. Kids.
Don't worry, they're not competitors.
Oh my gosh.
That would be interesting. Bring us on to Blue Peter.
just
So,
gonna creep
James,
away-
thank you
just
so
gonna creep away
much.
with Dottie.
That was really good, buddy. Thank you so much.
very
Go,
much.
go, James. So what's happening next then, Tegan? Where are we off to?
So we are we gonna be doing Leah or my show?
I reckon we're going to come to you, right? We're going to be hitting the streets with Tegan, as we said.
Oh, this is gonna
at
be
the
good.
start. And
Yeah.
you are going to have lots of fun. So, what was it that you were? Give us a little bit of a lead up very quickly into what's going on into
so
this film we're going to
basically,
see.
me and the Dan, we hit the road the other day. We went to wonderful Camden, and we just, it was my job to kind of pluck these poor people off the street, and we just simply asked them, what is your hair identity? What does your hair mean to you? How do you feel about it? Just really simple questions like that. And we got like a really good mixed bag of results from it. So
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to look forward. So we're going to watch that film now, and I'm going to come back and we're going to have a little bit more of a chat and go into the whole world of hair diversity.
Hello everyone and welcome to the lovely Camden town. We are here today to find out from the people of Camden what their hair really means to them. Hey Alfie, how are you?
Doing real well. Nice to meet you.
Amazing, nice to meet you too. So I'm just asking you, what part of your look and everything, what does your hair mean to you basically?
Well, my hair means quite a lot because I grew up around like 50s rock and roll, like psychobilly, like emo psychobilly, which I love to bits. My dad's a greaser, and
my gosh.
yeah, it's
I
brilliant.
think I fancy your dad.
I know. Yeah, it's just like I just love my whole look because I got like the pinned up boots and everything. It's just what makes me me.
Yeah. You look fantastic, by the way. I love, never change your hair. Hey, so I just stumbled into the most beautiful sisters over here, and I'm going to ask you guys, what does your hair mean to you?
For her, it's her hair personality because she have dreadlocks and we come from a small city from never different count, and it's like a statement because it's her. She's not scary and people look at her. She like it. Yeah. It's a part of her personality because she would like to be a mode designer, I think.
You look like a good designer. Yeah. And what about you? What does your hair mean to you?
Because I like my curly locks, sometimes more, sometimes not so more. But when I look at my sister, I never would like to do it because it's too much for me.
I'm quite scared, yeah. We have beautiful hair, both of you.
Means a lot, so I always have it bleached blonde, so I can dye it pink. It's
that.
always pink. So it depends what festival I'm going to.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to a heavy metal festival, the brighter the pink. So I always have it bleached blonde, ready to get the pink over the top.
So we're here with the lovely Charlie, who just looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And we are going to ask you today, what part of this look does your hair play, what it means to you? Tell me everything.
Well, I've been bleaching and dyeing my hair since I was a very young age. And to be honest with you, this is probably I'd probably say the best colour I can have it at the moment because of my job and because, I don't know, I like the pale look and I like to look as pale as I possibly can. Yeah. And I think that like white hair and like really, really like blonde or like silver hair really kind of like just makes you look paler, and that's what I love.
Yeah, I love that too, and it goes fantastically with your look.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It actually means quite a lot to me. It's one of my things that makes me feel confident about myself. So, but right now I'm not feeling very confident with it. So hence the hat. So.
Well, a hat always makes a difference. I mean, you look fab. Your hair looks fab. Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, cool. All right.
Fantastic. So I'm going to ask you tonight what your hair means to you.
Yeah, so like for me, like my hair is my personality, you know. It's like I just let it grow and it shows who I am in a certain way. So that's why I don't cut my hair, you know. I don't know, it's important for me. Letting my hair grow.
Yeah. Your hair, I love your texture and everything. Your hair's fab. And what about you?
Yeah, my hair just, like my personality. I know my hair is not very, but yeah, just let it grow. And I had my hair bald one day and I didn't like it. I don't like the short hair. I prefer long hair. And yeah, just like my hair growing and growing.
Let it grow, you know.
Just let it grow.
Well, you guys are very cool dudes, might I add. Very cool hair. I always like a man with long hair. What does your hair mean to you? What is your hair identity? What is all of that first?
Absolutely everything. Since I was about 14, dyeing my hair was a way to rebel against what everyone expected me to do. Through GCSEs, you can't have cotton candy pink hair. Well, I'm going to, and now I'm a mum of 2 toddlers. It's me. It's my way to stay like who I am. And I like to spread the joy, so I dyed Arizona here, her hair bright blue.
See, I just like having bright hair and I just let her do whatever she wants to my hair.
I know. Yeah, so I mean, I feel personally that I think that it's bad that when jobs are like, oh, you can't have pink, blue, green, blah, blah, blah. It makes no effect at all on the way that you work. No, 100%. If this is what makes you feel great and what makes you feel happy about yourself, then smash it, do what you want.
Smash it!
I'm down.
So we have just watched your clip from Camden, editing and interviewing people about the identity of their hair, and I think that was great. You were brilliant.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I think I'm good for something like that because I don't get embarrassed.
Yeah.
So when you're having to like go and pluck random people off the street and some people actually running away from you, you need no shame.
So picture the scene. So what was there a big queue of people all standing
Yeah, there was a
there
big queue of people and Darren just stuck his tripod there and said, go find people.
Oh,
so I was like, now?
I don't know actually if I was listening to the people. I was just more focused on you. But it was so
and
much
your
good.
reactions.
But do you know what's really interesting is your hair to people. I mean, that's hence why we went out and done it, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
When you sort of see, and then 2 kind of cool dudes with the long hair, and you actually said watching it, Jordanna, you could see he's talking from the heart.
He's talking from the heart.
And he just kind of, he had no prompt. I just said, I asked him what I was going to say, and he was like, okay, cool. And then said this kind of like almost poetic thing. Yeah. And for someone like him who's so serious, I was like, wow.
But and it's like they've got this kind of cool hair, but you can't, if you didn't know them, you just think they don't really give 2 monkeys about their hair, even though it looks super cool.
It
almost
debunks that myth in the perception of if you haven't had your hair cut in a year, it's because you don't care. Actually, he cares a lot about his hair, and the reason why he's not cutting it is because he cares about growing it.
Yeah.
And I always say, it's as hairdressers, barbers, we do people's hair, and we all know, look, as I said earlier before filming today, I said it's not open heart surgery, but it goes a long way. It's a close one. But why is it so important?
Personal. I mean, it's part of your body, and I think the fact that it's on your head and everyone can see it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And I think it's a bit like makeup. You can use it to frame your face, highlight certain features, or hide behind. You know. Yeah. And in terms of, I always say this to my clients, like when you take a step back and you look at really long hair, sometimes it's actually drawing the attention down to a part of your body that you're not like the most confident with. Sometimes taking a client to like mid-length, they're like, wow, the focus of my body,
it changes everything.
Like my long shot is up here now.
Your body's frame kind of.
And that's why I get so annoyed sometimes with our industry a little bit though, is because, and again, there are so many people that are just into it, but there's not enough that are into it and actually realise the importance of what you are doing to someone's life.
Yeah, because it's their identity. It's theirs.
I mean, look at you. Take away your red hair and
I'd be
give you a
bald.
blonde. But it's so much about your identity. Isn't
Absolutely,
it?
yeah. And
so what is your identity then?
Well, I think because my hair, I think I've always wanted my hair to match what I feel inside. I've always wanted my hair to match my personality. So it's just another way of expressing. I've always been an overly expressive person with everything that I do. So my hair is like that. It's funny, we actually spoke to someone that was actually because they had crazy hair and they were very shy, and they said that because they're very shy and they're very insecure, their hair is how they that's like how they want to express themselves. They want people to look at their hair and be like, actually they're not just like the shy timid person, they actually are quite or that some people will be like, yeah, well, I'm actually very boring in day-to-day life, so this is how.
And because we do almost judge people, don't we? From the hair, I always think, do we go from the I'm stuffed, don't I? Then we just, you know,
Oh, you have lovely eyes.
But look, do you know, you've got to work on saying, you know, let's work on the eyes. But actually, it is the hair. So you look at it and you kind of think, and that almost tells you about that personality and how people, and even like fringes. And I always find that really interesting when you do clients with.
I suppose it's kind of like how short they want to go, how long,
But it's a comfort, isn't it? I mean, I think for a woman, having that fringe is like, oh my God, don't go too short because you feel too exposed. Don't need enough.
Takes me about half an hour to go fringe because I'm just millimetre by millimetre.
Yeah, but they are big. For someone, it can be a restyle. And
it is a restyle, like, because I had another lady come in the other day, she's had the same hairstyle for 20 years, and her getting a fringe was that's a new lease on life. She's a new person. She was like, wow, look at me, I feel amazing. And all I did was cut fringe.
And in that film, we saw the two girls with the bright coloured hair at the very end. I mean, they were amazing with their hair. I mean, you don't see too many of them, or did you see loads of those?
And it was actually quite well done.
Really well. It is. I think they obviously like knew a lot about hair. They are quite serious about their hair, and that's again how they identify is through hair.
And men as well. And again, with Leah coming on, and we're going to be talking to her see about her role as a female barber, but her experiences of working with guys. Guys now, their identity is huge, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I see more and more of my clients opting or looking for options for hair thinning treatments, and maybe even go to Harley Street. I've seen quite a few people there. Belgravia Centre, etc. And it's becoming a much more important
totally. And I've got to say, you know, I laugh and joke about being a bald guy because actually I'm super comfortable with being a bald guy. But when you first start losing your hair as a bloke, blokes it's a real vanity thing for a bloke because it's like I'm getting older, and you can almost see because your mates are not going to be sympathetic to you. You know, they're not going to be, you know, you're going a bit bald there, you've got a receding hairline. And it's like when you show that guy the back of his haircut and he's just,
and you can see
and I bet Leah's experience, you know, and you know he's got the old monk cap going on, and you can see he's avoiding it. He's thinking. So I think for men equally, it's
they don't have like makeup and stuff like that to rely on. Their hair is kind of like their thing.
That's a show I would love to talk about. Is a little bit more maybe of baldness, and
I think
not only just for guys, but I think that would be. We're going to bring that to you.
A lot to say about that
on this sort of magazine show. So look, I'm really excited because we're going to be bringing on Jemima Cousins.
Jemima Cousins, deputy.
She's going to be coming deputy editor. So let's welcome along to come and join us on the show the gorgeous Jemima Cousins, deputy editor of Black Beauty and Hair. How are you, Jemima? Shall we all have a little shuffle along? Let's have a little shuffle along there. Get yourself comfy. How you found it? You've been sitting around enjoying it?
Yeah, I've been taking in the show and listening to what you guys have to say, and really excited to be here.
So come on, before we get into it, give us a heads up on you, Jemima.
On me, well, I'm the deputy editor at Black Beauty and Hair magazine.
I'll tell you what, can we all just
got a cue?
Look, YouTube, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd like to make out we all just know, but we've got a guy standing over here going, so should we have a shuffle over? Oh, there we go, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we all okay? Yeah, good. Okay. So, yes, so you're
I was just saying I'm the deputy editor at Black Beauty and Hair. I've been there for, drum roll, 10 years.
10 years!
Well, you know what? I love what I do. No day's the same. And with Afro hair, there's just always something new going on, you know, and I'm just totally obsessed with everything related to Afro black hair.
You have gorgeous hair.
Thank you.
Really?
Well, again, should we have another drum roll? It's a full wig. Yeah. Honestly, like the innovation on what we do with our hair.
Wait, look at that camera. How good does that look?
Yeah. No.
Do you mix it up a lot with wigs then?
I do, yes. So it's funny because when we see each other, I think I've got a different hairstyle.
Yeah. I haven't, but you have.
So yeah, I mean, it's just what you guys were saying before about, you know, what your hair means to you, and yeah, the joys of wearing a wig. It's not like how it was, you know, 20 years ago, where it was like, you know, a toupee plonked on your head. I mean, now it looks so natural, it looks so flawless, it looks so seamless.
And the funny thing is, even it's not just in black hair, so like wigs are so common now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, and again, it just allows you to express yourself differently.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there are days where I want to have these big lush curls, tap into my, I don't know, Beyonce, and then the other day I feel
Is there a reason maybe why black women do embrace wigs? More so than I'd say Caucasian.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. So it's deemed as a protective style, so it's a good option to have when you want to give your hair a rest from, be it relaxing or braiding. Having the hair tucked away, again, as I say, it gives it a rest, it rests the follicles, and at the same time you've got a gorgeous style. You're not having to walk around with a look that, you know, you're not so comfortable with. And in fact, it can even chime in with your everyday look. So as I said, if you relax your hair and you normally wear it straight, you know, you can still wear a straight wig and go into the office and continue that same look, and no one will be none the wiser. Another reason is a lot of women do suffer from traction alopecia. Again, that's something that is caused by tight styles, things again that
do you think that's really common, because in the past it's not been that popular to wear your hair naturally? It always kind of has, you either have to wear braids or wigs or something like that. It's kind of like you're trying to hide it.
And it boils down to bad practice as well. So with the relaxing, I mean, it's sort of recommended that you do it every 8 weeks. If you can stretch it out, maybe even longer.
8 weeks.
How does relaxing work? I'm going to show my ignorance.
Oh, well, I'm not a trained stylist,
no,
I have to admit, but
let's get that one over, because you are going to see Jemima doing a style challenge, and she's not a trained hairdresser, okay? So sorry, so you were just going to say, you know,
relaxing, so it's a chemical using sodium hydroxide, which alters the curl pattern in the hair permanently. So
permanently being how long permanently?
In the sense that permanently, once the bonds in the hair have broken and the hair is straight, you can't get it back to curly. If you wanted to, you'd have to cut your hair.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, it's a chemical.
So it's not good for your hair.
It's not.
Have you experienced any real problems with hair loss? Any of these things that you talked about earlier?
Not personally. I ran into an issue, I have to say, when I did have relaxed hair, and it was healthy. So I was going to say, you can, guys, you can have healthy relaxed hair. You can. So yeah, I was relaxing. I was getting on fine with it, and then there was the explosion of the Brazilian keratin blow dry. So me and myself, like, hey, I'm going to get on board with this. Took myself along to a salon with my relaxed hair.
Not in Rio by any chance, that would have been wonderful. I'll go to Rio and have this done.
No, took myself to, well, what happened? They put the keratin treatment on top, must have ran the straighteners through it 7 times.
Yeah, you really have to go so slowly as well, in the hottest temperature.
And again, with my hair being relaxed, the bonds were already, you know, broken. And guys, honestly, that whole selling point of, oh, you can wash your hair, it's more manageable, it cuts down on blow drying time. When I washed my hair for the first time, it was loxing. Like, it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
What did you do to rectify?
I cried. And I got on the phone to, I mean, thank God.
What was so bad? What was it? What was it with the hair?
So my hair was clumping together in the shower. And again, without getting too technical, it's like the ends of my hair were relaxed and the roots were natural. So it went curly and into this dead, stringy rat tail just hanging.
Did you cut it off?
Surprisingly, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got the thank you.
How did you work your way around that then?
So yeah, as I said, in a panic, I called, luckily I've got hairdressers on speed dial.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, well, your job position probably does have those benefits.
I mean, anybody else, it was horrific.
And was that an Afro specialist salon, or?
So I have to say, I got the Brazilian done in a European salon. And when I was in that moment of crisis, I went to an Afro.
So this brings us on to our next topic of conversation,
go on,
which we are itching to talk to you about. Would you say it's true that there is a huge gap and a separation in terms of Caucasian hair and Afro hair? And if so, what do you think are the solutions?
Yeah, I think, you know, considering we're in 2018, I think there is still much a gap, and I think there's a lot that we can do to
How can we change it?
build the bridge. Oh gosh, I mean, one thing I think salons need to do is, you know, talk to women of colour, and by that I mean, you know, even in the shop front, you can have, you know, you've got your beautiful pictures, why not have a model with a beautiful blow dry or, Afro hair, because that just subtly says to the person walking by, like, hey, you know, we do.
I've noticed so many at my salon, because I know at so many salons they won't actually do Afro hair. Well, I know so many people come to me and they say, oh, do you colour our hair? And I'm like, what? Of course I do.
Right.
But it's so horrible that people walk past and just think.
Why is it that we, you know, we're frightened of doing black hair? What is it?
But it's just,
is it the texture?
Yeah,
is it the product?
it's got a bad rep, sadly, that I think is considered other.
Because we shouldn't be having this conversation, really, should we?
100%. Yeah, it's looked upon as difficult to manage. Again, like through work, I have the luxury of having complimentary treatments, and when the PR drop in the email to me, you know, would you like to go to this salon, have your hair blow dry? And I have to ask, is there an Afro stylist? And it's like, let's get back to you. You know, you've got to wait 48 hours, you know, for a response.
Is there though? Because I know when I interviewed Michelle Thompson, and she was wonderful to talk to about curl, texture. I love her because I think she's really got that balance right of that sort of European Caucasian hair, black hair. She's really brought the two together.
Well, and what I like about what Michelle's doing is she's calling it texture as opposed to Afro, which again
is that a taboo? Afro? Are you using the word Afro?
No, it's not a taboo, but maybe it's. I don't want to say it's unfashionable. It's not. It's a term to describe.
Is it because we associate with that sort of 70s, that big Afro hair?
Well, no, but I just think we're crossing over more because you know, without sort of getting too factual, but. You know, mixed race is the fastest growing population now.
And trends, as we were talking about with James, and again, that Weller trend evening, the amazing Zoe Owen was saying about...
Well, there's so many types of textured hair, because, like, you know, when you actually start to understand it, there's so many different... There's 4 curl types, aren't there?
That's right, yes.
Your 4C, 3C.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
The hair type.
That's right.
I would say in my
salon,
we have a stylist in our salon that shy away from curly hair, not from Afro, not from texture, not from Black Caribbean. It's just curly hair. So when they get a client who has curly hair, it's that phenomenon. And do you know what? I actually respect people who can say, I can't cut curly hair. I just don't know how to style it, because at least, you know, they're
How do you cut it? I mean, I'm just asking a question that maybe some people are watching. How do you cut black, curly, textured hair? Is it dry? Is it washed? Is it stretched out with a comb?
Depends.
Well, again, at the end of the day, the point is that it is hair, and you treat it like hair. It ain't gonna jump out and, you know, slap you in the face or anything.
It might spring up if you stretch it down too far. Whether it's black or white or curly hair, because there is a different art. That's what I'm just saying.
I mean, for sure.
Because when you've got
there are different disciplines, and again, this is where I find it interesting in the way of, you know, I spoke to a junior, and you know, she's doing a hairdressing course, and she said the Afro is just a module. You know, a 6 weeks module that, you know, that's hardly anything. There is a lot to learn, there is a lot to factor in, and I do think it is a shame that there isn't a qualification.
Yeah, I never learned, and when I was doing my MVQ, I never learned
So that's what's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simple.
And that's passing on into the salon, so like, as you were saying.
Look, I'm going to put it out there, and if I sound controversial, I don't mean to be, but do black women, black guys, will they have a problem going to maybe a European Caucasian sort of hairstyle salon?
Do you know what? Yes, somewhat. Because like anything, if you're going to walk through the doors, and it's like, hi, hello, do you do Afro hair? And someone's standing in front of you and they've got no confidence whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And they're and they're ahhing, and you can see the fear on their face, then of course not.
Yeah,
of course you're not going to trust them.
And there's a
Or
different
you're gonna
vibe in that more traditional sort of black hair salon, isn't there? The
Yeah.
music going. Would I be wrong in saying that in the years gone by?
There's definitely a different culture and different environments going on. Some are better than others.
But it's that community, isn't it? Because I think the black community, I think, is what has always been really come together and.
Well, yeah, I mean, hair. That's again, this is what I love about doing my job, is that it really does bring us together. That there's just something so lovely in that you can be in a room and you can just cross over to a lady and compliment her hair, be genuine, of course, and straight away you connect, and you can stand there and you can have a conversation, exchange tales, exchange, what you're doing, and so it's a nice way.
But at the end of the day, it should all just be coming together.
It is.
It shouldn't be black or
It's needed, isn't it? I think, it's long overdue.
How about you as a magazine then?
Sorry?
I mean, how about you as a magazine? I mean, what's your take on, that sort of, you just specialise in black hair? I mean,
We do. I mean, again, if you can imagine, 30 years ago, there was nothing like Black Beauty and Hair, out there. None of the print magazines were talking to women of colour, so it was important that something was made that addressed what was going on with our hair.
Can we got a little got a magazine just down here? Let's have a look. Let's give it. There we are. That's a magazine, and it's and I think the imagery has just changed so much, hasn't it?
I mean, it's sort of twofold, where we give Afro hairdressers a platform to showcase their work.
Yeah, something that they don't have in like the greater hairdressing community.
Again, that's it. So you get some really fantastic Afro.
We should be seeing all this, though. More of it. I just still think it's too divided, and that's the big problem.
I remember the thing that always stuck out for me, because I go to these industry events all the time. We always go into hairdressers, and I think Dom was there, and we had I was at the GHG studios the first time I met you, and I remember thinking, wow, because that's why I came up and spoke to you, because there's not I don't usually see any people representing any sort of black hair at these events.
And I remember that conversation, and it is like, it does frustrate me, because I mean, in the UK alone, I think the Afro hair industry is worth £88 million, and for European salons to not be tapping into. I mean, we only have to look at Fenty Beauty. Rihanna, she brought out the 40 shades of foundation, and that kind of put diversity on the map. And the same's needed with hair.
We're using the same techniques as well now, especially with wigs and colouring and stuff like that, and braiding.
And ultimately, though, black culture is the super culture. When you look at, I look at my lads, they look to black culture. It's music, fashion comes from black
that's a good point.
culture.
And so again, it's like somebody or we, by us even having this conversation, like, you need to take the initiative to drive it forward. Again, no one is tapping into it, and you're right, even working with the magazine, it's like, for as much as we look at trends, I say Afro hair, we're in a bubble, because man, we've been doing trends since forever. The braids, the weaves, like, it's nothing new, guys. Box braids, like.
It's just sort of moving on. But I actually think the whole wig market, and I know just sort of looking down here, you've got, what you got going on down here?
I brought a little friend along. So this, guys, this is a closure. That's what you call a closure.
So what does that do?
If you want to pass it down.
Wow.
So as you can see, it's a little patch of hair that has hair extensions attached to it. And it gives you a flawless blend, nicely demonstrated on Dom. So
that would sit like there.
And
with this, you don't have to. So it mimics
I don't want to mock
scalp.
this, by the way, but you just feel very awkward putting a wig on a bald man's head. But, no, it's amazing though. So
So the idea with a closure is it mimics a scalp. So you've got this mesh base, which is either lace or silk.
Is there a difference between the lace and the silk?
Yeah, silk is kinder to the hair, and it's just a preference thing as well, because it seems to, I find it lays flatter.
Yeah.
But something like this, in the way of price, it can range anywhere between £30 to maybe £200.
And how many would you need of that on a full? Yeah, is
Oh,
that,
right.
do you have
So,
to put lots
with
of
this
those
closure,
on?
you always need one, but you can get different sizes.
This is for the front, isn't it?
This is just for
Is
the
it just
front,
kind of
but-
padding it out and just sort of styling it out? Then that's what you.
Yeah, and
okay.
again, the great thing is you can part it in any direction and really get some versatile
We need to get
style.
Michelle.
If we looked on your makeup table, actually, is hair products and all, the hair piece a real big part of you?
Oh God, 100%. I mean, God, my cabinet is just overflowing.
That's what I was looking for.
Oh yeah,
so you've got a few different uses for your toothbrush as well. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So another thing that I'll pass these along. You guys heard of edge tamers?
Yeah.
So these are popular in that we use it to gel down the hairline.
The baby hairs.
The baby hairs.
I'm hoping I'm okay to just sort of get my finger into
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Sorry.
you can too.
Oh, that's what's
I mean,
great.
it's great because it's not messy at all. I mean, that's some serious.
Yeah,
work
let's
done.
have
And is that what you use to apply it and just
this very
work it through?
special high-tech tool.
Have the products become better?
Yeah. Brands have improved their formulas over time. I think earlier you were talking about natural hair, and for the past decade there's been an explosion with the natural hair movement, which is a major thing in our community, whereby people are looking to use more organic, natural ingredients, and it's taken some time, but brands are now responding to that, where, for instance, you can get shampoos that are sulfate free, doesn't have certain ingredients that can coat the hair or dry it out. So there's been a vast
I think there's a lot of people
improvement.
that share the same views and think about some of the things that we've just discussed here today, and let's all work together, guys. Comment below.
No, it's fantastic.
how we
Look,
can
honestly, and
improve
just to
things.
bring it to an end, I could sit and talk about this subject. But I think we can maybe get Jemima back more. Do you
Yeah,
reckon
I'd
we get her
love to,
maybe?
honestly,
I quite like her on our desk.
I know, we
I
can.
quite like her.
I've got one
I think we've got
quick
room
fire
here.
question for you. Quick answer. If you could invent anything, or if you could see that there's any gap in the market for Afro hair, what would it be?
Oh, I've got a couple. So this is a personal one to me. Man, if someone could invent something that could just grow your hair done.
Yeah.
Grow it long.
I've got a bleeper in my back pocket. As soon as it's invented, it's bleeping.
So that's number one.
That's number one. Another one I would have to actually say is like a relaxer that you can wash in, wash out.
That's interesting.
So yeah, you kind of put in your hair.
Semi-perm.
A semi-perm, yeah, and it softens the curl, and you can wear your hair straight, and then wash it again, and you're back to curly.
You better patent that, because that's coming out.
It could be a bit of a struggle now. It's maybe
It's
out there
now.
But look, Jemima, thank you so much for coming on.
thanks for
It's
having
been
me.
a joy to have you here. Really, as I say, could talk about it more, but we are going to bring you on as a non-hairdresser to do the style challenge shortly. So we are going to see you before we go. But thank you for bringing
Thank you
your,
so much.
your knowledge.
I can't wait to see what you do with the toothbrush and the mannequin.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
So we enjoyed that. That was just a delight.
amazing.
So much content, and I'd love to bring Jemima back and to get more from her.
Yeah.
But look, this next subject, I think, is something that we all know has been massive in the hair industry. Probably, I'd say, the last 10 years. The world of men's hairdressing, in particularly barbering, has gone to another level, and we're seeing new superstars that have come out of the industry. And I had the pleasure to talk to this young lady in my podcast, and she's just a joy. And that's
Lady, which is what I like. This young lady.
Okay, hence we're going to call this bit. We're going to call it a barberette. A barberette. And what makes this lady, and you're going to see her in a minute, is that she is just super cool. So we want to just talk to her, meet her, what's her feel in the world. So should we bring her into the set? Fancy want to meet her? Come on, in you come, Leah, Hayden, Cassidy! How you doing?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So you have been ripping it up in the world of barbering. And you know, I had the pleasure of interviewing you, didn't we, for podcasts for How to Cut It.
Yeah.
Little plug. Yeah. Do go and listen to it. So the story there. I mean, how much are you aware of Leah?
Oh yeah, I was so excited today when I heard that Leah was coming on. I've followed her for ages, and what I love about Leah is I've always been obsessed with like kind of like powerful, successful women that just do their thing, and they don't like, especially surrounded by men, and you're just killing it. You go up there, you don't care. You're just you have this energy about you that's just so cool.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And what's great is that what makes you unique is not something you've ever really played on, and you never really even mentioned the fact that you're female.
Never.
You just see yourself as a barber, and you're equal to every other barber.
Definitely. I think that's really important as well in this industry, as well as like hairdressers. I mean, people go into shops, hairdresser salons all around the country, and if there's a guy cutting their hair in a hairdresser salon, it's not like, oh, you're a male hairdresser, you know, that's gone, that's been and done. So I think getting into barbering, I think it's starting to get that way as well, where you're not surprised anymore walking in.
Because I know I have a barber's just down the road from it, and actually all the staff in there are pretty much females.
Yeah.
And that's obviously something that we've really seen change. But I think what's stood out for me, and I think you'll probably all agree, is your whole kind of vibe. You've got a really kind of... Is it something you've purposely worked on, or is this just you?
I mean, I've always been outgoing. I've always been kind of chatty. I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not afraid to go out there and make connections and kind of make... I mean, for me, starting even as a barber in the industry, I wasn't afraid to walk up to... I mean, Kevin Lutchman was one of the first people I talked to at Barber Connect. I was cutting probably about 3 months, and walked up to him and just said, hey, I'm Leah, Hayden Cassidy, I want to get into barber and I want to do this. And I mean, I think that element has got me more so where I am than my skills. You know what I mean? Because my skills are, I mean, you give me a clippers and I can kind of, I'll just push through and I'll learn and I'll teach myself, and I am self-taught as well. But I think confidence and just being able to say, listen, I'm learning, and letting people grow together, and letting my audiences on my social media grow with me, rather than me saying, look, I'm up here doing the big thing. You know what I mean? No, that's not it.
When did it really, for you, did you think, yeah, there's something special going on here?
Well, I actually got into it all kind of by mistake. You know, there's a backstory if you listen to the podcast, How to Cut It, Dom's podcast. And yeah, I started out, I went to America when I was 17 to play soccer. I always wanted to be this, you know, female superstar soccer player. And unfortunately broke my leg really badly. And it cut it all for me. So when I came back to Dublin and kind of just did about 5 or 6 different jobs, bartending, everything, you name it, I've done it. And I think from that then I stumbled upon, one of my good friends was barbering a few months, and he was just practicing on some of our friends, and I just picked up a clippers and started practicing with him. And it just turned out that I was pretty good, and it was quite natural with it.
Do you think being a female then you have a different eye to maybe a guy?
No, I wouldn't say I think it's anything to do with my gender. I think I have a good eye, but I think that's just because I'm quite creative. You know, my mum and dad are both artists. So I think I'm quite a visual learner, and I can replicate very easily when I'm watching, you know. So, and that's how I learn a lot of my what I do, is by going to shows or going to different events and watching people and learning. And I think when it all started to kind of change and become such a big passion was when I just got obsessed with the industry. You know, I did my first stage show after about 8 months of cutting hair, and I loved it. You know, I love talking to people, I love educating. I was a dance teacher, so I can talk. If I can keep hold of 3-year-olds teaching dance, I can kind of hold a conversation or a crowd. So I mean, that's where it kind of came off for me. And I think in terms of being a female barber, I was just there at the right time, right place. And I was the one willing to get on stage, you know. But like there's a lot of amazing female barbers out there, but I just think it's again just down to confidence and just being comfortable and being comfortable in the unknown as well, of not knowing.
You've made a great success for yourself, and so quickly, fast tracked everything. What are you must have faced some personal challenges along the way.
Definitely.
What were they?
I mean, I still face a lot of challenges daily, you know, and anyone who is self-taught knows that you do come up on different times. But I think for me, I think I just I like to kind of step into different environments that I'm not used to make myself learn a little bit. So I mean, talking to Jemima there, I worked in an afro shop or a textured hair shop, whatever you want to call it, for two years in Berlin. And there I kind of just immersed myself in it and said, can I have a job? I want to know all about this. I want to know everything about it. And I think for me, doing that in a lot of different situations and when I'm working is helped me kind of overcome things. And yes, the first couple of months you feel like an apprentice again. Yeah. But I think that's just being comfortable enough to ask a question, or being comfortable enough to say, I don't know what
and you
I'm
get
doing.
it wrong,
you're comfortable enough to fail.
Yeah, you need to be you need to have comfort in failure, because if you don't, there's no room to grow anywhere. You know. So I think that's the most important. I'm still learning. You know, I'm here living I'm based in London now, and the part of the reason I wanted to stay in London is because there's so many academies here that are just handing out knowledge. So
I know when we spoke in the podcast, you were sort of really keen on developing your hairdressing as well as obviously your barbering.
I mean, hairdressing, and especially this industry, and especially in the UK, I mean, it's so new to me, you know, and I'm going to Salon International and all these different things, and I mean, I'm like a kid first day at school, like, hello everybody, like.
And you finding as well, and I said this to Tegan as well, and you've become famous within the barbering circuit.
Yeah,
really.
Barbering.
Are you liking that?
I wouldn't say I'm famous, and I always say, like, when I teach, educate, or when I educate, I always say, you know, like, Instagram, social media, all of that doesn't pay my bills. At the end of the day, what pays my bills is my clients in my chair. So although I have this platform that I can use, and I think it's very important as platform artists that we use it correctly, I also think the most important underlying value of things is my clients and what I do daily in a chair. You know what I mean? Because that's where I think
that's really important that we all remember that, isn't it? Because we do get so wrapped up in social media, like saying magical's going to happen, but actually the reality is we've all got to pay the bills.
It's the focus, and that's like behind the scenes and behind all this social media. That's where you learn. That's where you grow. That's where you test yourself. You know, and then you can take it to a platform if you're confident enough.
It's like a story behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a great thing as well about Instagram and stuff and YouTube, is because you can almost share your journey with people. You know, and I love doing that. I love going, if I'm ever taking any education myself, having my Instagram story there for people to actually be there with me, you know. And I think I think once you open yourself up to that and don't close yourself off or put yourself in a bracket of being insta famous or any of them things, I think then you allow people to come into you a lot more.
So I think that's what's really important with someone like you, is that there's so many people working really hard as barbers, but they see what you're doing. You're like, no one, like, when you're at school, how can anyone even imagine doing what you do?
I mean, I don't think I think my teachers are probably still shocked if they ever. My mom is like, called me up and is like, You're on the front cover of a magazine? What? Like, do you know
what are you doing?
What? Yeah, what? I hope it's for something good, you know what I mean? I hope it's for the
You've got your clothes on, haven't you?
Was
that bad? Sorry.
So I mean, also our industry, you know, for maybe in barbering or in hair, we're all up there doing our thing, representing. But I think to the rest of the world, I mean, people I still went to school with are like, what are you doing? Why are you going to all these countries? You know, why are you doing this?
But if anybody had told you that when you started,
I would never have believed. I would have laughed.
What country is your next adventure going to be in?
So I'm actually going to New York in 1 week for an event called Her Chair, His Chair, and it's a charity event for breast cancer, and it's actually for female barbers in the industry, and it's run in New York, and it's basically just like a showcase fundraiser. So they've asked me the last 2 years, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get over. But this year I kind of pulled plans and made up and said no, I'm gonna go over. So, but I spent the last month just traveling. I was in Moscow at Barber Connect in Moscow. I was Indonesia in a thing called Barber Life, where it was actually a platform for female barbers as well. So there was myself and another Indonesian female barber who were up on stage. So I mean,
you've got to be happy that you came out of football, because you probably have only travelling
know, that's it.
To lose a Tuesday night midweek game.
Exactly.
And and that is just what. So if there's young female, young girls that are looking into this, are really looking at him. Leah, look at her. She is so cool.
A superstar.
What would be that one thing that you would say to them, that's why you should do this?
I always, the reason I kind of came upon this and why I do fast-pace everything and do everything and put myself out there is because when I broke my leg, I realised that you cannot plan anything other than a week in advance. You can make these plans, but in terms of a lifetime, this is what I'm going to do forever. We don't know what we're going to be able to. We don't know what circumstances are going to happen, what hurdles are going to happen. So I think it's very important to just take opportunities when they come. And when you're doing things, put 110% into them. Because, if I started out and I was a bit slow and I was, I didn't get models when I needed to practice after hours. Most of my work and what I do, whether it be social media or whether any shoots or anything, is times when I'm not in work, it's my own spare time and it's my own money I put into them. And I think you do have to be willing to kind of push yourself.
Can I be rude? Are you starting to make a good living from it?
I'm not really at the moment, I'm not.
Is that a rude question to ask?
No, it's not rude at all. I think
it's nice to know.
Do you know what? I think a lot of people think that there's a lot more money in these things, and there's not. You know what I mean? I can pay my rent. I don't wear fancy clothes. The t-shirts from H&M.
Don't wear fancy clothes. You look good.
I don't wear brands. Money is not a big issue. I've never had money. When growing up, I didn't really have much money, so it's never been my goal to make loads of money. My goal is just to be happy and enjoy and take the most out of things.
And travel the world.
Yeah, and travel. There's nothing more valuable than travel and experience. So no, I'm not breaking a bank, but I am making enough to live how I want to live, and I think that's important.
Can you ever see your own place?
I don't think so. Not in the next few years anyway. I like traveling. I really want to get more into education. I'm trying to kind of push my education. I'm an educator with Andis. Have my YouTube. I'm trying to push that, which is Hayden Cassidy here. My Instagram is Hayden Cassidy, and I'm just trying to push these elements and almost make a branding out of just being me and traveling rather than in a shop.
Yeah. And you're going to be doing a look for us today. You've been doing a haircut.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing a haircut.
We're going to share onto that, and that'd be great to just sort of maybe get a few tips on you.
Definitely.
But look, honestly, to get you to come on, and obviously I've had the pleasure to talk to you before, and actually to now meet you in person is even cooler. And it's lovely, and I think you are such a, I think, the face of female barbers.
That's a very big compliment.
Yeah. Who else are the big sort of female barbers out there?
We have a few in the US. There's a lot. There's a few in the UK. There's Toasty, who's really good. And then there's so many. There's so many more. Off the top of my head, there's too many to mention. But there's again in America as well. They're really pushing the female barbers. So again, touch on what I said earlier. Gender, I don't like to play on it too much, but I think this industry male grooming needs to change a little bit, and barbering and that old school, no girls allowed in a shop, thing like that. You know what I mean?
Why don't you like to play on the gender thing? What is it? Are you uncomfortable with that?
I'm not uncomfortable about it. I think I'm just too comfortable being around males or females. I've played football all my life, you know what I mean? So even on a football team when I was 12 years old and I was the only girl on it, I didn't know I was the only girl. I was just a teammate, you know what I mean? And I think for me, it was never an issue for me, you know what I mean? It was never something that, I never made it an issue. There is people out there who have issues about it, and it's because they're making a deal about it, whereas I'm just...
I suppose if you're looking for equality, you have to be equal in the sense.
Yeah, normalising something that's not whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
I've got a juicy question for you.
You should.
If you were Harry Potter and you had
Harry Potter.
Juicy.
I love Harry Potter. So
good, because I was worried you'd be like and you had a magic wand. What skill would you choose to have?
What skill? As anything in anything or anything in
could
the
be
industry?
Hairdressing. It could be industry related. It could be anything in the world.
Wow.
Oh, well,
Jordanna,
I mean, if it was anything in the world, I think I'd probably like to live in a big-ass mansion somewhere up in Beverly Hills.
I reckon we'd have a good party there as well.
Yeah. Time travelling would probably be, not time travelling, just travelling in general, if I could just set my place. Or time travelling would be pretty cool. But, I mean, in the industry, in terms of hairdressing and stuff, I think if I could just give myself some skills, I would definitely be more kind of scissor work and hairdressing and have that foundation of, you know, being a precision cutter. Because I think to merge the gap between, I mean, trends nowadays in barbering, they're moving on from that old school clipper over
Where are we going then? I didn't want to go too much into that.
I think we're definitely starting to see a massive influence of men's hairdressing, not barbering anymore. It's men's hairdressing, and you have the likes of Kevin Luchman, who's killing it, Jodie Taylor, so many amazing people who are just on point with this whole merge of the industries. And I think it's too separated at the moment.
It's so fashion-led.
And at the end of the day, men's hair, women's hair, or black or afro hair, it's all hair, and I think we need to.
It gets
that's
too
what we need to
tribal,
realise.
doesn't it? And actually, it is hair.
It is.
I mean, hence what name of this show. It's the hair show.
The hair
because
show,
at the end of the
exactly.
day, that's what
and
we're
it's
all
so
dealing
nice
with,
to
isn't
see, like, I mean, different elements coming on, and I mean, sitting here, I've learned a lot from even the previous people we've had on set and stuff. So yeah, it's been amazing.
It has been absolutely fabulous. So what I reckon, we need to see a little bit of that haircut that you've done. So would you be quite comfortable to maybe rock up? And I think this would be really good for certainly you blokes that are maybe just a little bit of a styling tips.
I'm just gonna do something really natural and stuff today, so yeah,
You've been
it'll be
working
easy
on
for
that.
everyone at home.
Okay, so should we let you go and get your model, and we'll bring you back with Thomas. Hey, hello, model.
How's it
going? How you doing, buddy?
I actually have a live model this time, so excuse me. But this is Tom. Anyway, what I've done is I've just actually cut the hair before and prepped it. So if you can see, I'm going to turn it around so the camera can actually see. What I've done is I've just graduated the sides, so we have this nice bit of weight at the back. If we can turn around. And from that, I've kind of tapered all of this down, so it's just nice and clean. With the top, what I wanted to do, obviously, is accentuate the area here to keep it quite square, quite masculine, have this nice shape. And then with the top, I just did small little layers that are going to connect and all sit back into each other. Quite simple, but just really nice, kind of contrasting with the taper and the shortness into this length. I'm actually just going to style the model as well today. So
Leah, you say that is simple. That is not simple.
I mean, simple to
I
the
can
eyes,
tell you.
visually simple.
But actually, I think when you look at that haircut, and actually to be really close, it is so craft-like, honestly. Because we were just sort of saying earlier about, you know, barbering, there's been that real sharp, high fade. But what I love about it is so subtle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be completely honest with, like, I've talked to you before, Dom, and
very
my
nice
story,
time we had to.
and yeah, I mean, I don't know everything in the world. I'm not the best barber or the best hairdresser. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And so for me, I think all of my cutting skills are actually quite simple techniques. You know, I've just graduated the sides into the back and square layered the top. It's not scientific. Technical terms, but just I think it's just for me visually. I'm a visual learner, so visually for me, I can see where I need to create this look. You know?
And again, if there's any guys, like I asked James, if a client went to the salon, they saw them hires, and the fella's looking and watching and thinking, I like that haircut. How do they describe that haircut?
I mean, with this haircut, I think it's generally would be tapered at the sides, because a lot of the thing about men's hairdressing or men's barbering right now is everyone's so focused on the fades and how short they want to get it and the numbers, and we get it all the time, you know, coming into a barber's, and you get guys who've just seen maybe a few words on Instagram and they're just shouting them at you and they don't actually know what they mean. So I mean, for us, I think it's good to always guide your clients to what they actually want. So someone maybe can come in and say, I want a skin fade and really long hair on the top. Well, actually it's my turn to turn around and say, well, maybe a taper down to skin will suit the length on top sitting back. And it's just about balance and talking them and educating them on their hair as well. So with this haircut, I would just say kind of loose, heavy on top and just tapered down at the ends, just nice and simple.
So, and you're going to style this off?
I'm going to style this off. Now I've let it kind of dry naturally. I've blow dried a little bit in the back just so we can sit the layers into each other. Thomas has a bit of movement, again with what James was saying, kind of that natural wave, that kink. I think we're really going for that kind of natural look. So yeah, I'm just going to, I mean, if you're at home and you want to kind of style this, style your hair, what
I love that. Now we're all getting told to squeeze in there.
Yeah, we're all getting closer.
So look, we're squeezing in.
He's not as easy as the mannequin heads, you know. So I'm just actually going to wetten this down a bit. I know it still has volume in it, so I just want it to be damp. I don't actually want to soak the hair. I'm going to turn them around there.
Have you used product in this beforehand, or
so this is just blow dried, just fully clean, blow dried. He has a nice natural lift in the hair anyway. And I'm just going to literally dampen the ends. You can see it's not actually going into the root. It's just nice and damp. I'm going to use a nice product now. If you at home maybe have like a leave-in conditioner, right now I'm using Redgun, and it's actually called No Blow Dry. So with this product, I think it will just give a really nice natural finish. I still want a little bit of shine in it, and a little bit of movement. So I'm just going to put a bit in there, as you can see.
How much do you usually put in?
I always just say maybe like a little bit longer than a pea-size amount. You know what I mean? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work this through the hair and make sure it sits into the roots on top of the hair. You can see working into them layers. And what this will do is when it'll dry, it'll still have a small bit of sheen, yet it will kind of be like more natural. So if he goes out, I want this look. I want him to go out, the wind hit it, and it to fall and still look quite natural and nice. So you can keep, if you wanted to style, I mean we're talking about Instagram nowadays, if you wanted to pull parts down, it's always nice to have it for a photo, you know, that image there where it's kind of nice.
You've got the length that you can move that about a little bit.
You know, so, yeah, I mean it gives you
good hair, Tom.
I mean, I think we cut, I mean a lot of the times these days barbers are so like pomades or maclay and everything is so stiff and stuck, whereas if we let the hair just do what it naturally wants to do, generally it will look much better.
If you go into the barber shop, do you get from a barber good hair styling advice? Does that come into the time factor
I
of a
think that
barber
is
shop?
completely down to, like, for me, I will always educate. I'll have like a 5 to 10 minute consultation with my client. What do you do? Do you have 30 minutes to blow dry your hair? Do you have 5 minutes to blow dry your hair, you know? So ask them what they do, ask them what they want their hair to look like. Are they lazy with their hair? Is there anything they don't like about their hair? And I think definitely product does come into play with that, because if you give someone a pomade who only takes 5 minutes doing their hair, but they're not going to get a nice, decent look out of a pomade, you know? You're going to have to spend hours blow drying and then to try and set that. So I think product is very important, and the fact is that most clients don't know about products. They don't know what they can use.
So again, our fellas are looking in and thinking, should I ask questions to my barber, my hairdresser?
Yeah, always ask. If you're unsure, I mean, a lot of people don't want to be picky at a picky client. Nobody wants to be a picky client, but I think for us barbers or hairdressers, it helps us when people are a little bit picky and they're asking questions and what can we do or how can we help your style or whatever, and I think it helps us then know where they're at with their hair, and I think that's really important, especially for a style like this that's kind of cut nice, and this is going to dry nice and natural with the waves, with the curls, and yeah, it's
a bit of a curtains going on there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's so, I think, do you know what, I think this is definitely a trend.
Yeah, so suits you well, that trend.
With the curtains, I think like that kind of old school vibe is definitely coming back.
That 90s
vibe. The mullets are coming back, everything
and it's
like
nice
that.
Because he can create this look at home.
Exactly, it'll take him 2 minutes.
And Thomas, you're a barber too?
Yeah, this isn't just Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas has his own barbershop in
Ireland, in Dublin. Yeah, he's actually the first man who taught me how to shave. So.
That is pretty cool to think that.
What a legacy.
Yeah.
Carl, so you're to blame.
Yeah. And again, just touching on the beards, I know we haven't talked a bit about this, but what I've basically done here is I've left it really natural, you know, along the edges. Sometimes things can be too forced in a beard, you know, and it's like nobody wants to walk around looking like 50 Cent. Some people do, but, you know, I mean, we
do see them.
You do see it, and a lot of enhancements and colour enhancements, sometimes there's just no need. Natural is better. So with Thomas, I know, I've obviously cut his hair before, but I know that natural is always better. We've got kept the ends quite messy. Underneath is not cleaned and defined, but it still has that shape. You know, we've tidied in the sides, and it's still quite natural, quite messy, but it doesn't look overdone. I think that's the key. So, yeah.
Superb. Is that it? That is superbly it.
Thank you, Thomas.
Really enjoyed that, Tegan. Jordanna.
Yeah,
really, thank you so much, Thomas, for giving it your time coming in, and it looks brilliant.
Yeah,
So
and
thank
he
you
can
for
go
being
out
there.
and he doesn't have to worry about it.
High fives, Leah.
Yes, lovely.
High five, Thomas.
Thank you, guys.
Go back, give the love to the island, all right? So really, thank you ever so much, guys.
Thank
you. So there we have. Was that not too good? So here we are. So at that point, that really brings us almost to the end of the show, but we are going to be heading into the style challenge very shortly.
So we now are moving on to James. James was talking to us about this kind of natural highlighting, a technique that he has gone away and come prepared, like Blue Peter. So we're going to ask James to come on now and show us, was it Dolly the doll?
Yeah, come on, let's hear it up for him. He's been working away. Woo! Yeah, here we are.
Okay. So, as you can see, super soft, you know, little highlighted pieces going through there. Very easy, no toner on that, just processed it with a low developer to make sure I didn't expose.
So what was that, developer?
10 volume.
Wow.
And just making sure that I didn't expose too much undertone, you know, go for that kind of low and slow. Move up, guys, shift up.
Can we get a bit of light bouncing off that?
Yeah, can we see the light on that? But we're going for that kind of low and slow vibe. So that we don't get really orange.
Nice.
That's a good hashtag.
Yeah, that's it. Low and slow vibes. Yeah, that's right.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting hashtag to search, wouldn't it? Yeah. I wouldn't put that into Tumblr. Anyway, so
sorry.
So yeah, just gives it a really nice reflect. And if you're going to do, you know, something for a little bit of an accent in their hair, it just works a treat.
How long did you say it should?
Well, this technique took me about 15 minutes to apply.
15 minutes?
Yeah, you were really quick. I was watching you just.
I thought it was low and slow.
Well, yeah, the lift is low and slow, but this, you know, the actual technique itself, you know, once the colour's processing.
And how much could a salon be charging for that? In that 15-minute time, this is where consumer can close their ears.
Yeah, consumers, you want to close your ears right now, because, I mean, in the salon, I charge about 70 quid for that, so...
just the highlighting alone, or is that with the permanent?
Highlighting alone.
Yeah.
That's
And just for the viewers, just so that they know, this is just targeting this area of the head.
So you wouldn't do, it would be more softly. If you're doing all over?
It would be more, it'd go up to 90.
I guess you only really need to do like the kind of top level, you don't need to do too much underneath really.
I mean, I started the technique 2 inches above the ears.
Okay.
Both sides, and it runs round in a sort of a halo, effectively.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's a very straightforward.
So anybody that is after the sun-kissed kind of look, very natural, very understated,
very easy.
but beautiful, which is so much, and that is actually going to grow out lovely as well.
That's right, yeah. It's
not always great for hairdressers
though,
but
it's a twice-a-year job. But it's not for those people we want them to be highlights every 4 weeks. It's for someone that had tint for the last 5 years and has never explored anything else. And if they want to get the back done, then they need to, you know, come in and have that half head service that's a little bit more.
So how often would you do this kind of technique? Would you do it every 6 to 8 weeks, or?
You could, if you was going to get them really blonde really slowly. You could take them like Jordanna's colour in, 7 or 8 months.
And would you be going over the same kind of bits, or?
Providing we're using appropriate bonding surfaces, you know, additives to the products to make sure that we're keeping the integrity of the hair good. And I like to use clay lighteners if I'm going to keep going over and over. Hairdresser watching this, you know, the clay lighteners that lots of brands have brought out for balayaging are a lot more gentle than our conventional blue powder bleaches.
So the white bleach?
The white bleaches, yeah, and just that gentle lift. And we're using a low volume, we're not creating bags of damage. This hair's wasn't in wonderful condition before, and it's not in any worse condition now.
I think that's a really, really presentable way to actually preserve the client's hair condition, because now we're all faced as hairdressers, like the perils of balayage and the aftermath of being like, there is nothing I can do with your hair. It won't even hold a toner, it's that thirsty. So this is a really good way moving forward, I think, to preserve condition.
Thanks for showing us that. I'm
You're welcome.
Jane, as I knew the life of hair, it would be so good, and it's wicked, mate. You're a wicked hair colorist.
Thank you.
I love watching YouTube videos
Thank
as well.
you
The
very
life
much.
of hair. I think you've been filming us as well.
I've been filming today. Yeah, there'll be a behind-the-scenes look at the hair show. So yeah, I've got every guest on. I've got some little snippets, and I hope people enjoy seeing it from that side, not this side. So
thank you, mate. Well, thank you.
That's my bad side. So that's a bit awkward.
Well, look,
I'll have to do some
Take
editing.
2 from that side.
You are not going to go away just like that because we have got the style challenge.
This is literally
I'm looking forward to this.
Headlock challenge.
Now again,
I'm
look,
looking forward to this.
I'm not. We don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to give it a go. All right. So, what's actually happening, Jordanna, with this style challenge?
So they are doing a headlock challenge, and each and every one of them will have a headlock with a tripod, and their aim is to create
Their alter ego.
an alter ego.
It's gonna be funny.
Their alter, and basically, we're going to do this by putting a selection of products here, and we're going to come away from here, and we're going to just get them set up, and they're going to have 2 minutes to just grab.
Not very long, really.
Not very long, but hey, that's the fun of it all. And they're going to just create a product into a look within 2 minutes, just using the products that we have here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to give our honest, humble opinion. Okay, does that sound good? So we're going to go and get yourselves ready, James. We'll get everything set up for you. So
Wicked.
here we go. We're going to get into that.
Okay, so we are at the most exciting part of the show for me personally. We are at the hair challenge. So we have our 3 guests, and they're going to come on and design a look, alter ego look, in 2.5 minutes. Are you guys ready? Come on! Oh, more energy, guys. Come on. Thank you, Leah. Right. This one's my favourite one.
Hey, you can already pick.
Okay, right, we are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go! And they're at it, wow. I can feel the tension immediately. Check out this guy!
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so what is the idea? What are we going for here?
Well, you know, my alter ego is an anarchic one.
Okay,
and a key at its best.
Oh, that is a good idea. Just shave it all
Oh,
off.
yeah! He's cheating.
Okay, and we are moving over here. What are we doing?
Oh dear. We're going for something sleek and hopefully...
I love the use of the hairbrush back here. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Jordanna's going to be very
special,
excited to see this.
The special tool.
This guy come back. And what is your lovely model's name? What's her backstory?
You know what? Her name is Tallulah.
Tallulah.
Yeah.
Her name is Tallulah. She does look like a Tallulah.
Yeah. And her backstory, she just got a bit happy with the hair colour, but she
she looks amazing. Oh, okay, check on that. I'm going to be drunk in a minute. And we're going to go over here. What are we doing?
So, I'm going with the really nice natural curl in my gorgeous model here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use this, and I didn't actually know that we could bring clippers, so... I thought it was stylish. So I've gone with the use of these products, and we're just going to do some real nice natural wavy, scrunchy, you know?
Okay, we have 1 minute, everyone. I like your alter ego. It's quite similar to your
own hair.
Your own hair. That's fantastic. Well, each their own. This is looking very, very sleek. And you are done. What? Oh, that's cheating. Come on, guys. It's not based on time. It's not going to pick a winner.
You definitely started before us.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
Yeah, definitely.
So where is this model going to wear this hair? Is this kind of a catwalk style?
I think so, or red carpet, because we're going for that mixture of sleekness and tousled at the back.
Yeah, very glam. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. We are finished. Tools down, everyone.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There's no difference.
Wow. Okay. Right. Okay, guys. You are going to disappear off, and we are going to judge this. Wow. Okay.
Okay, wait.
Time's up. Time's up.
Get out.
Yeah. All right. I failed. Sorry, guys.
Whoa.
Hey!
Wow,
What is going on? I'll tell you what, it just looks utter chaos going on here, and I have to say.
Yeah, quite an aggressive vibe back there. People are really getting into this.
Right. Okay.
This is just
Come on,
such...
should we just get down to the basics here?
Right.
Are we kind of... What are we feeling with that?
That's what I love this.
So are we liking
That
it?
is just such a clever idea. Yeah, I do know that we were allowed clippers, but I mean, make your own rules.
Who was this, Tegan?
This is James. Yeah.
He was angry with that, weren't he?
Yeah, well, that's his alter ego. He's so calm, relaxed.
I think there's just a lot going on here. You've got your Fashion Week kind of indented with the clips. You've got a really nice little braid done under timed conditions, and she's not.
And the hair, like she said, is very tousled.
Her alter ego is that, you know, from one side she's wearing, you know, quite a natural brunette colour, and then. So I really like it.
I really like that.
Leah's?
And then you've got your, like, I've just walked out of the house and half my hair's dry and half my hair's also wet look.
Like I didn't try, but I actually did really try.
Really, actually, I think represents your personality very well.
No, I'm sorry, that's got to go.
Oh, right, that was savage. He's just jealous. He wants that hair.
Right, so we got beauty, and we got fierce. What do you reckon?
The beast.
What do you reckon?
I'm going for beauty.
I'm going for the beast.
Doom, doom, doom.
Up to you. They're looking at you.
See you later.
No!
Yay! Come in, Jemima.
What does she win?
She wins.
That,
your ego.
I am so surprised.
Alter ego. You win your ego. Alter ego. Yeah. There we go. So look, come in, guys. That was wicked. Give her an applause. That was so much fun. You lot. Love it.
I still think James cheated. So.
Steward inquiry. But look, do you know what? For the very first one that we've done of this hair show, I think it's been just too much fun, isn't it? I mean, honestly, I've loved everything about it. So come on then, where can we find, what things have got going on for you at the moment in terms of projects? James, have you got stuff going on?
Well, it's all about the life of hair in my world, so still making videos weekly, in fact twice weekly at the moment, and that'll be going on well into the new year, and hopefully going to be doing some really interesting new projects coming up in the new year, bringing the life of hair to life.
And where do we find Life of Hair?
You can find the Life of Hair on Instagram, the Life of Hair 1, you can find it on Twitter, the Life of Hair, Facebook, you can find me, James Akinson, and you can find me on YouTube, which is just the Life of Hair.
Perfect. What about you, Leah?
Well, I have a few different projects going. I'm educating a bit. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to New York in 2 weeks, as I said, for a really cool first time in New York. I'll be at Solal International, a few different events and stuff. But if you want to find me, my work is Hayden Cassidy on Instagram and Hayden Cassidy here on YouTube. And I'm trying to update that YouTube, trying to get that. Get a few tips from this guy.
And Jemima.
So in December we've got our Black Beauty Sensational Hair Awards, which is the Afro version of BHA. So that's the 2nd of December, and we're already looking to Afro Hair and Beauty, which is happening May 2019 over at the Business Design Centre. It's the biggest hair, beauty, lifestyle exhibition for women of colour.
Wow.
Amazing.
Are we all invited?
Yay! Right, look guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the hair show. It's been brilliant. Thank you each and every one of you that have watched it. We're coming back with loads more of this. So if you want more, let us know your thoughts by getting in on them comments below. So Tegan, Jordanna, 2 lovely hostesses, and all our guests. Let's give it a big hair show.
Thank you guys.
Big shout out to our sponsors today, L'Oreal